Belly and my sister Leonella Steve Belly in mid-production meeting. I'm not dodging your question. I'm trying to explain to the people what's going on here so they've got some context. Well, I know, but if I don't explain it, it's not like they can hear you. No, I'm not trying to rub that in your face. I'm trying... Listen, I haven't been sulking, right? It's just the first 2 episodes of the show, they were a little bit of a downer. We gotta face it, right? Penryn was very interesting, but in part because I don't know if he said a single truthful thing the entire time he was here. And Valor, we didn't exactly hit it off beforehand. I'm not really sure we made up. And let's be honest, dude didn't even know what was going on while he was down here. But I know the point isn't for me to have sort of personal edification out of these things. It's to entertain people. But if I'm not enjoying myself, how entertained do you think the people are going to be? Well, that's not... No, that... You... Listen. Look, if you don't let me get a word in edgewise, there's not going to be any words in this part of the show. No, I'm not rubbing it in your face. I know it's very difficult when I'm the only one you can speak to. I understand that. I try and be your voice, but that means sometimes you have to let me be the voice. Look, and who is this guy that you've got on this week? I don't know a Gor'Atan. What is a Gor'Atan? Look, I'll do the research before the interview, but I'm just saying, like, we're trying to get this thing up off the ground and rolling. You can't get more people that I know in here? People that I know don't want to talk to me? Oh, well, that's not fair at all, Ellie. I thought you said you were going to try and cheer me up before the show. Look, everybody, by the time you hear this, I will have done the research, and I'm sure he's a fascinating character at Gor'Atan, everybody. What are you doing to me? Do you just want to end this thing now? This is ridiculous. I don't think this is fair at all.
That's terrifying.
That's a little weird, a little strange. I hope you didn't have much trouble getting in today.
No, I was just, it was raining, and there were some puddles, and I was jumping in them, and then I heard this weird chortle, and I just kind of fell through one of them because it was a lot bigger than I thought it was, and now I'm here now.
Yeah, that sounds like how you get here. All right. Well, it's good to have you. I hope you're comfortable. Do you have a preference for the stool on the right or the left?
Not really.
All right.
Which
Well,
one do
here,
you want, buddy?
I'm going to sit over here. Why don't you make yourself comfortable there? Whisper Jar is already running, so we're good to go.
Now, does the jar whisper to us, or do we whisper to the jar?
No, that's really just the name. Really, it's just a way to record our conversation so that we can then replay it through the Federwork Industry Sending Stone Network so that people have the opportunity to listen to this. And
okay.
Let me make sure. This is Gor'Atan, everybody. So nice of you to come down here and talk to me today.
Yeah. Hi. Happy to be here. You didn't give me your name yet. What's your?
I'm sorry. I'm Leander. That's right. This is the first time we met.
Leander. Okay, I'll remember that.
Yeah, there you go. But I do know a little something about you. I understand that you have recently been put out of house and home.
So to speak. I mean, my old house back with the tribe was still there. Nobody really maintained it though. Family of owl bears made a nest. So I've got some weird housemates now, but they're pretty cool. They don't really pick up after themselves, but it is
Okay,
what it
well,
is.
right. Well, nesting with some owlbears, that's certainly strange, we can certainly talk about that. But I was actually referring to the old house and home and wife.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, you seem to have lost all of that stuff. What happened there, buddy?
Well, I mean, not many people remember this, but there was that Empress Res car that everyone was really like scared of and stuff. But
Short-lived
before her,
empire, the Red Empire. Yes.
yeah, before her, and there's been some weirdness here where only some people remember this and some people just don't think it happened. There's this gal named Eumone, and I was married to Eumone. So that kind of made me the emperor, but that wasn't my formal title. They called me the Lord Consort. I don't really know what the distinction is. Um, so I was kind of the king in a manner of speaking for a while.
Oh, you were married to the empress, right?
Yeah,
That makes you the emperor in my book.
that's what I always said. But then she was very specific. No, you're not the emperor. You are the Lord Consort. And so I guess that's an important distinction, but it's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
went over
It
my
sounds,
head at least.
yeah, it sounds like tomato to me, buddy. And was it just the two of you, or did either of you bring any family to this equation?
Well, I had an ex-wife back home, but we don't really talk anymore. And then she had a daughter from a previous marriage. Her name's Sylvie. She's great. She's super awesome. Great kid. Turns into a fish sometimes, but other than that, just super wonderful.
Can we rewind a little bit here for a second?
Yeah.
What exactly do you mean she turns into a fish sometimes?
Just whenever it rains, or like there was one time we were having a water gun fight. Just turns into a fish. It's weird. It's super weird, man.
Are we talking like a mer person, or are we talking full
Yeah.
fish situation?
Not a full fish. She's like still has arms, but like fishtail. Fishtail.
All right, I got you. A mer person. Everybody's seen a mer person. That makes a lot more sense. So
Yeah.
how are things with you and Sylvia these days?
Oh well, she's pretty busy. Just going around, doing the whole exploring the world that you've been denied from for so long and whatever thing. So we don't see each other very often, but we meet up and have lunch every once in a while. Just check in, see how things are going. She's doing really good.
Well, that's that's good to hear, buddy. Not everyone can make nice with the sort of blended family situation.
Oh
Sounds
yeah,
like,
no, my kids from my first marriage fucking hate me.
well, I'm sorry to hear that, but
Uh,
at least you were able to make nice with Sylvie. And when do you think the last time you saw her was?
um, about a fortnight ago. Yeah, like 2 weeks. We went to McGoblin's and got a couple combo meals. Just sat down and talked for a little bit. It was a good time.
Well, I gotta say, I'm surprised to hear this. Last I heard, she had sort of disappeared along with someone named Copperson.
Ugh, yeah, that guy. Oh, I thought he was really cool, and then he goes and kills my daughter. We have to go through all this trouble to find her body and resurrect her, and it's a whole thing. Not cool. First of all, he delivered my DoorDash the other day. It was the weirdest thing. What do you say in that situation? Like, hey, you're that guy who murdered my daughter, but that action has no legal consequences, so I can't do anything.
Now that must have been really strange to go
It's
from uh, compatriot to disappearing with your daughter to finding out that he had murdered your daughter, right? And then next thing you know, you've spent all this time and money to recover her body and resurrect her, right? And
Yeah.
the perpetrator is delivering your burritos.
Yeah, let's just say I didn't tip.
Yeah, that's that's a good one. Didn't tip. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to bring your stepdaughter back and continue this fine relationship with the blended family there. That's pretty fantastic. What about the family you came from? Where are you from originally?
Well, um, this is a very personal story. You can find all this, by the way, in my tell-all novella, From Conqueror to Consort, the Gor'Atan Feynmore story, on sales now in most major bookstores.
Let
But
me
I'm happy to get into it a little
Right,
bit.
let me interrupt you there, Gor'Atan. We I promise you, we will have time at the end of our conversation, right, for you to plug your book, right? But
Okay, yeah.
for right now, right, let's just focus on having a nice, pleasant conversation, okay? So
Alright,
let's get
yeah,
back,
yeah,
right. Let's get back to your parents. Where are they from originally?
yeah. Yeah, so my dad was a small businessman operating out of Nusset. Uh, he ran a pretty successful, raiding and pillaging group, R&P as we call it in Orconomics. Uh,
Uh-huh.
Eventually, he became a big enough deal that he got into local politics. He executed Gagnor Blood Axe and took his spot as chieftain of our little tribe. It was, so I had big shoes to fill as I was coming up. It's hard to live up to someone that successful who really just pulled himself up by the bootstraps. Not to say that I didn't have a good relationship with my dad. He was always really good to me. He taught me how to hunt. He got me my first pet, Fubkin. I've got him right here.
Well, it sounds like quite an interesting childhood being raised by the chieftain.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't always easy. There were blood feuds, rival tribes trying to encroach on our territory. Had to kill a lot of fools, but
Is
we were a pretty happy family.
is that that where you got the impulse and interest in all the working out because you're a big muscular guy. You get that from your father?
Oh yeah, no, my dad was big. Like not as big as me, of course, but very big, like very fit. Was always stressing the importance of diet and exercise in a growing lad's life.
Well, I can see that you truly took that to heart and have followed through on the emphasis on physical fitness that was instilled in you by your father.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's
Uh,
it's just all about committing to a routine and sticking with it, even if you don't feel good.
uh, I can certainly understand that. I could use maybe sticking to a little routine myself. So tell me, how he became chieftain of your tribe, right?
Yeah.
But at some point, he's gone, and you begin your rise to prominence. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, so that's a pretty common misconception that outsiders take is that there's no right of inheritance by familial ties in our culture. You have to kill the previous chief. My dad was never prouder of me than when he looked me in the eyes as I ripped his head from his shoulders, and he smiled at me as I did that because he knew that I was picking up where he left off, and I was continuing the family legacy of powerful chieftains.
Now, let me get this straight. There was no intervening chieftain,
No, yeah, no, 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 my dad and then me. And then I had
and
to abdicate to take my position in the court, so my sister took over, but, like, that's still kinda up in the air because really one of us shouldn't be alive at this point.
okay. Well, we'll get to that in a second, but I just want to flesh this out a little bit more. Uh, as you said, it's a common misconception, right,
Yeah,
that the position of chieftain or the royal line, so to speak, just follow is a birthright, and that's not the
yeah.
case in your culture.
Oh no,
In
not
your
at all. No.
in your culture, you need to straight up murder the previous chieftain in order to become chieftain.
Yes, sir. That's how you do it.
And you just had to rip your father. Well, you didn't have to rip your father's head off. You had to kill him to become
Yeah.
chieftain, right? How does that feel? Having to, having to take out good old dad.
I mean, it felt pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I've been kind of living in his shadow my whole life, and I had to prove that I was ready to fly on my own, as it were. And I could tell he was cool with it.
Holy moly! Well, look, more power to you, and I'm glad that you feel dad was proud of you. That's important, I guess. So tell me then, how like after having gone through that, killing your own dad to become chieftain of the tribe, how do you meet the empress? And how do you decide to abdicate your role to take over as emperor?
Yeah. Well, this is all in chapter 3 of my book, but you so basically,
Okay, look, we've talked about this, right? There will be time at the end of this conversation to get a full plug of your book in, right? But
okay,
for now, let's just keep it simple. Let's have just a nice uh, conversation between two people, right? And there'll be plenty of time to plug the book. All right? Sound good,
okay,
Gor'Atan?
yeah, I suppose that's fair. Yeah, sure.
Okay. So tell me about the Empress now, and how you met, and how you decided to go with her instead of staying with the tribe.
Well, when I came to power, it was a time of great upheaval for our tribe. The previous chief had just died. We were being taxed by uh, these jackasses from Canehorn. And they said to my dad, you can bend the knee, you can give us 50% of your loot from your raids, or you can all die. And, if I were in that position, I would have just, spat in their faces, killed a couple of them, save a messenger to tell them not to fuck with us. But, and I mean, this is part of what led to my political involvement. People weren't very happy with his rule towards the end there. So, I'm newly appointed chieftain, so I say, all right, me and the lads are going to go pay this Canehorn a visit. Get a couple of my buddies. Uh, who was it? Garth and Hellreaver. Uh, we roll up, kill a bunch of guys, eventually make it to the throne room there in Canehorn, and I raise my weapon to declare the charge, and the Empress says, "How about we get coffee?" And the rest is history. Uh, we hit it off right away. She was really a sweet lady. You don't really get that impression if you didn't really know her, but she had her moments.
Well, I mean, I can understand. She probably gets one look at that physique with the big, battle axe overhead, right? And she starts thinking twice about, well, maybe there's other ways we could go about this. So, these sweet, tender moments. I don't think many people, you know, would use those sorts of words to describe the Empress. Do you feel comfortable maybe sharing one of the G-rated ones with us?
Oh, G rated. Oh, those are pretty few and far between, my friend. But hmm. I mean,
Okay,
there
you
was
know what?
one.
Let's just move on then. I don't want to. I'm already in enough trouble with the network here. I don't want to risk it any further. So the two of you hit it off.
Oh yeah,
Have
you
a-
can
have
definitely say that.
right, yeah, and you decide to get hitched, so to speak. When w- w- what do you do with the old tribe? How do you inform them that you're choosing the Empress over them?
um, I really didn't tell anyone. I just you
You just
know,
fucked right off.
yeah, Garf and Hellreaver. They They went off to go take high-ranking positions in the guard, and then I was living at the palace, and nobody. I don't think anyone remembered to send word back. I think they probably thought we died.
Probably it goes a long way to describing why the kids from the first marriage don't really care for you all that much. I think if you just fucked right off.
Yeah, yeah. No, they're justified. It's okay. I'm at terms with that.
But you're here, you got a new love of your life, right? And she has this daughter Sylvie that it turns out you take to, and she takes to you, and the two of you are getting along great. Uh, when was the first indication that your stepdaughter did not like her mother very much, and vice versa?
Um, well, at one point, Sylvie and we were out hunting. It's one of my favorite activities. Sylvie didn't like it much, but she wanted to spend the time with me. So we're, you know, hunting, out
That's a
tracking.
sweet kid right there.
I know, she's really great. That's what I'm saying. So anywho, these escaped prisoners we're hunting uh, have led us into a bog, and we got a moment where we're making camp. We can kind of hear them screaming off in the distance. We think the witches probably got them at that point. But she says to me, "Dad, this might be a weird question, but what would you think about me taking over for mom?" And I was kind of floored. It was I really saw my influence on her. I'd had that whole history with my father, and taking over, moving on from where he ended his life. Um, it was really it's one of those moments where you really feel proud as a parent.
Oh, I see. So, given the history and the tradition of your tribe, it made that sort of admission from your stepdaughter not only a perfectly reasonable position to take, but filled you with a sense of joy and pride for her having sort of taken to the ways of your tribe and believing that it was her role to eliminate her mother and take over, just as you did eliminate your father to take over leadership of your tribe.
Yeah, yeah, you got it right on the head there, Leander.
Well, that is really something, you know. It just shows that nurture really does win out over nature, and being involved, right, with your children, regardless of regardless of how they have come to be your children, really makes a difference in their life. I'm really, impressed, Gor'Atan. That shows that you've been a real positive influence in somebody's life. That's very impressive.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that, Leander.
So I think now is probably an excellent time to get that plug in. You want to tell everybody where they can get the book?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've got a contract for the first 6 months of release with Bugs and Garblins to have exclusive rights to sell the book. I'll be doing signings at the Cane Horn store uh, for the first week that the book's out, and then I'm going to go on tour after the exclusivity clause ends, around the land, city to city. Speaking, reading excerpts, that kind of thing. Just talking about how I got where I am today.
And why don't you give everybody the name of that book one more time? Just make sure everybody's got it.
That's From Conqueror to Consort, the Gor'Atan Feynmore story.
From Conqueror to Consort, the Gor'Atan Feynmore story. Look, I think it's going to be a tremendously interesting read. I can't wait to get a copy of it myself. How long did it take you to write this thing?
Oh man, oh well, I'm not just being humble if I say I'm not really the smartest guy. So I had a little bit of help. Essentially, we got my buddy Fahir in. He took a break from his busy schedule to running his country to scribe for me because I'm not so good at writing. The quills, they're just so small, kind of accidentally crush them between your fingers. You ever have that happen?
Well, I can't say that I have, but
Okay.
looking at your big mitts there, I can see how some could get lost or crushed in them. They're pretty impressive.
Yeah, so I go to my buddy Fahir, right? And, we go pretty far back. He helped us out with the whole adventuring across the continent thing. He says, well, I can't really help you right now because I'm running a country, but I can loan you one of my scribes. And this scribe, pretty great guy. I'll give him a shout out right now. His name was Leornas. Yeah, shout out to Leornas if you're listening at home. Love you, bro. This dude, consummate professional. I mean, we spent like 16-hour days just me talking, him writing. Sometimes get distracted if there was like a cool bird outside or something. Just taking breaks to eat and chase birds and shit. And it came out pretty good, I'd say.
Well, yeah, like I said, certainly the stories you've shared with me are very interesting, and I very much look forward to reading it myself. Well, listen, it's been great having you in here. I think the conversation went really well. How do you feel about it?
Oh, I feel great, man. I was a little nervous coming in here through that puddle, but you're a really cool guy. I think we hit it off pretty good. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you. You're a good guy yourself, and I look forward to continuing this conversation. Quite frankly, I almost hate to see you go.
Yeah, no, I'm not going. I was jumping in fucking puddles, man. I'm not really busy, so.
That's a good point. Maybe we should go out and grab something to eat.
Yeah, that sounds great. You like sushi?
Yeah, let's go find some fucking fish, man.
All right, sounds good.
And 16-hour days, it's a long time to spend with someone else. You must really be able to get along and sort of bond there. And sounds like you maybe went out seeing those birds. Did you do a little hunting to relieve the stress?
That's always my go-to. Yeah. You're cooped up inside for so long. It's just good to be able to reconvene with nature, kill something with your bare hands if possible. Weapons are fine too. I'm not a snob, but I am kind of a purist about the whole killing thing.
But you prefer to get your hands on it and really feel it.
Yeah, it's just not as it's not the same experience if you got like an axe in between you and the thing you're throttling and dismembering.
Right. So, like you said, not a snob, but at the end of the day, you want that personal, intimate connection with what
exactly. And I'm not gonna give anyone crap if they use a spear, a bow, a sword, whatever. It's just not my cup of tea.
Well, not everyone's as jacked as you are. So for some people, well, I gotta tell you, we never did make it out for that sushi. We just had too much fun talking the afternoon and the early part of the evening away. It was refreshing. And I owe my sister an apology. Maybe she was right. Maybe it was just low blood sugar. But what a wonderful way to spend an afternoon speaking with Gor'Atan. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And look, I hope the next conversation's as good as the last one was. Turns out a good conversation may not change your life, but it can certainly change your outlook. So until next time, Leonella!